between, I've been working, of course. So sometimes I just throw up a couple of shorts, whatever I have time to do. I'm still thinking about a name for this live, okay? I was going to read a little bit of my notes, and I just got an actual comment on one of my videos. And I'm telling you, everyone thinks they're a damn teacher in this piece, or certain guys feel the need to correct women. Like, I know what I put up, I actually studied it, I make sure I read, and I actually have a little bit of knowledge of the topic before I just come on YouTube and make videos. So I definitely put a little bit of forethought into the topic, and I just don't know what people's problem is. When you try to talk about certain things, they feel the need to correct you. Yes, I know, I'm not wearing my seatbelt. I'm almost home, so this is not going to be a long one. But guys, don't worry about it, and just know that people are going to have different understandings depending on where they at when it comes to learning, especially some of my administrative stuff. I've had a lot of books on the matter. I've read a lot of books. I've actually did my due diligence. So it's not like I'm haphazardly coming on talking about this stuff, okay? So there was one video about doing like age or majority or authenticating your birth certificate. And he's like, this won't work in every state. It's like, listen, the full faith and credit clause will tell you what works in one state will work in other states. I shouldn't have to repeat myself. That's why it's so important, guys, for you guys to take time off in between doing videos. Some days I just rather work, study. I will have some time this weekend, so we will do one in my office because I'll actually have some time for that. This is definitely not my day job. This is just something that I do on the side, okay? And, I've learned to fall back a little because I put a lot into it when I first started. I realized, like, wow, I'm really doing the most for people I don't even know. And then some people who are not as well versed in some of these topics want to act like they're super smart, right? They will try to be combative with you, and they will misconstrue what you're saying. They don't even know the definition of words half the time. But now, the latest topic is talking about law, the Constitution, and some of our rights. And I even have airheads that would never even think of half of this stuff saying, oh, I heard about the Sister K Trust. I'm like, I don't even think you have the wherewithal to do the research needed to just stay in your own lane. It just seems like, oh, they try to take it and run with it because they try to call out foreigners and put people down, but you actually want to be foreign to the U.S. And if you knew what the hell you were talking about, that wouldn't be such a bad word, okay? Because I put up the definition of a domestic trust, and actually that shows how the courts have jurisdiction over you per the Internal Revenue Code. Hi! Why so serious? I'm always so serious. I was born serious. Make sure you like the video when you come in the room, because I just finished a long week of work. I am, super tired, and I've already had trolls on some of my videos talking about, I don't know if you can do it like this. I'm like, listen, I'm not going to debate. If you have a question, email me at diadash@yahoo.com and, hit up the Cash App because, time is important to me, right? I'm always serious, but I'm also really playful. You just don't know me well enough. How's everybody doing? How is your Friday going? Your Freaky Friday? It's been eventful. You can tell I'm like super exhausted. I don't know. I could just be hormonal. It's probably that time of the month coming. Go ahead. All right. So I'm trying to keep it light. Make sure you like the video if you guys are going to come in. Hi. It doesn't cost $1 to like the video. I was going to give you guys just a definition. I was going to change the title in a little while, per the topic I was talking about, because I've just been so busy, guys, and I'm like, at least I can do videos giving you guys a little bit of notes, giving you guys some of the stuff that I have been doing lately, and how I go into numbers, how that matches with the law. A lot of people make fun of it, but if you don't have like the right insight, and a lot of people get really competitive. That's why sometimes I get serious, because I'll be like all about good faith, share some of the knowledge that I have accumulated, and then people, certain people that I try to go out of my way to help, they'll act like it's nothing, or they might start talking about people that look like me, and I'm just like, listen, it is your spirit that's the most important. It is definitely your vibe. And I don't get into those discussions because I've seen the best and the worst out of all types of people. Right. So I'm not even going there. But when people try to act like it wasn't like natural to get certain information, or it wasn't like written in the stars, like, even the Bible says people hate on it, but I love talking about it. It's codified in the law that he knew us in the womb. So basically knew how you were going to be before you were even created, right? Before you were even born. So, my birthday lands on a 13. Okay, a lot of different numbers come up. And even in the law, a lot of remedy comes up when it comes to 7, 13, 4s come up a lot. So, hey, hate on it. Everyone has their own teaching style, and everyone has their own way to piece it all together. So don't let anybody shame you because you have a different style or a teaching style than someone else. Okay. Some people are overly religious or overly, it's either one way or the other. A lot of people really need to like look at things from an objective standpoint, read the laws and see how it applies today. And then you can get some more remedy too. But before it gets dark, guys, because I had a long day and now it's already nighttime. You want to see how dark it is? The sky is so pretty. It's like purple, right? And I wanted to give you guys like a legal definition, because a lot of people talk about trust and all that. Hey, honey, this is going to be a short one. I was talking a little bit. I didn't even think I was going to have time to do this today. It's just been one of those days, right? And I just want to go home and curl up in my soft pants, because I actually have the weekend off, guys. So we can do a more intensive video. I'm going to maybe put some stuff on Patreon. I go over how to fill out the W-8 Ben form, the W-9 form. If you didn't see like the different forms that are out there, how it's all encoded. So if you haven't noticed, in the 1537 edition of the Bible, in the verse in Matthew, okay? In the book of Matthew, right? When you go to chapter 13, there's the 13. Thank you, darling. I am like super tired though. I definitely am going to get a good night's sleep tonight. 13 comes up a lot. A lot of people get super weird about it. Isn't Proverbs 31 just like 13 switched around? So you can say a little bit of Proverbs 31 there, right? I look at things backwards, forwards, upside down, right? But in chapter 13, right, I get a lot of remedy. Like Job 13 calls out the physicians of no value. Thank you so much. Yes, please. And I'm going to send you a little love token later today. So look out for that, right? So in Matthew chapter 13, you'll find the word soul, but it's spelled S-O-L-E. And in Romans chapter 13, all of those pesky Christians out there, they'll be like, yes, it says, let every soul, like your soul, be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God. And the authorities that exist are appointed by God. Therefore, whoever resists the authority resists the ordinance of God. And those who resist will bring judgment on themselves. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to evil. Do you want to be unafraid of the authority? Do what is good, and you will have praise from the same. Okay? So, therefore, you must be subject not only because of wrath, but also for conscience sake. For because of this, you also pay taxes, for they are God's ministers, attending continually to this very thing. So when they say render to Caesar what is to Caesar and God what is to God, when you see in the book of Matthew, chapter 13, you'll see soul, like corporation soul, right? When people say, oh, this process has nothing to do with the Bible, it's all about the Bible. Look who's back, right? Exactly, right? Just like Slim Shady. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? So the book of Matthew, chapter 15, in the 1537 edition, you got to get this old one, right? So it goes into the word soul. So we talk about corporation soul as an actual legal entity comprised of a single soul, incorporated office occupied by a single soul, which is a natural person. In today's commercial system in the United States, everyone needs a commercial avatar known as a legal person. That's why you use a social. That's why your name is in all caps, right? Every single soul is occupied by a natural person, which is an express trust. God explains that the soul, S-O-L-E, will either be held in a foreign trust under God's jurisdiction and registered within the ruling government's councils, or the soul, S-O-L-E, will be under the ruling government, known as the 14th Amendment Sestake Trust, which is a domestic trust. In other words, under Caesar's jurisdiction. Thanks. Thank you so much. Yes, I have my teacher's assistant in the room. Refer to her comments for further instructions. Most corporations sold are church related, although some political offices of the UK, Canada, and the United States are corporation souls, allowing the express trust to be the beneficial owner of the soul and out of the United States jurisdiction would avoid judgment, receive praise from the ruling government, and avoid taxes. Following God's ordinances expressed in Romans 13, verses 1 through 7, there's the 7 again, it is viewed as good practice, like, keep your nose clean, stay out of trouble, which promotes so many benefits to neighboring communities and families, okay? However, remaining a U.S. citizen and leaving the soul, S-O-L-E, within the United States jurisdiction is viewed as a practice of evil, followed by judgment and avenged by God's ministers, who today are the current leaders of the world. Some politicians know this role, and others may not. God speaks so heavily against usury and the charging of interest or taxes against one another through the Old Testament. However, if one chooses to ignore God's treaty laws, taxes and pillages are at their feet. The distinct detail to avoid usury and taxes is to not fall within a domestic trust definition. Let's go over it. Here's the number 7s again. God doesn't lie. Internal Revenue Code, subsection 7701. The term domestic trust means a trust in which a court within the United States is able to exercise primary supervision over the administration of the trust, and one or more U.S. persons have the authority to control all substantial decisions of the trust. Hello? There you go. That's one part right there. I got plenty of notes, plenty of facts to back that up. So when people are like, oh, they're foreign, when people get like a little bit of information, I'm like, you want to be foreign. Obviously, you didn't know DC was a city-state. It's foreign to the rest of the states of the Union. Wake the hell up. So when they try to come on your channel, girl, right, and try to teach your class for you, or try to be like, listen, you're not going to compete on my channel because I have all my ducks in a row, okay? I have actually put it together like there was a reason why I learned all this stuff, right? And it started with the Bible, getting that deeper understanding. And then I catapulted that to learn about like all like the different conspiracies and frauds and everything going on in the world and the monetary system, what the social security card really is. And like people don't think that he would lead you to practical truths. That's how you know you're plugged into the right God. And I know the name of the Most High. And I do study a little Hebrew, and people shouldn't be hating on Arabic or Aramaic. They're both so similar. They have the same origin. So again, not understanding the Moors and the Hebrews had an origin story. Like I'm so tired of it. And some of our people have a little bit of Sephardic Judaism in my lineage, and I've been just drawn to so many things. And you know, God will work with who he wants to work with, and that's just his prerogative, because my stuff actually correlates to other fellow teachers, right? And you know, eventually a lot of us are working up to be our own master teachers, right? To be the you know, elders of tomorrow. You know, I've been students of the best, and women can be amazing students. When you go to the hospital, you wouldn't tell the doctor or the nurse not to touch you or that they were incompetent because they were a woman, would you? Right? So let's not play. But I will have, you know, sometimes the same people that you were trying to mentor will get on all in their feelings, and they're throwing out all these words like foreign and this and that like it's a bad thing. I'm like, you obviously don't know your own status. Or when they come on your channel and they're like, that won't work here. How do you know? Give me proof that it won't. Give me some type of proof, right? It's just there's a lot of guys out there that feel the need, even if it's not their job, to try to check women. We don't need you for that. I didn't hire you for that, so I don't want to hear it. Okay? If I come on and I'm sharing a couple of tips, that's me out of like, you know, my charitable spirit. It's always been like that. I don't have to do it. If people want to contribute, if they don't, I still do it regardless. Although I think some guys don't contribute out of spite, but yet they're drinking from the same cup off my table, right? I am actually nourishing them like a baby bird. You know, I feel like a mama bird. I have to digest some of the information, right? Chew it all up and then spit it back in their mouth where it's like nice and pureed, and then they can understand it, some of them, right? And that's how it's been. Because I'm getting, you know, certain support from some of the newer people, but some of the original people that were following me, some of them totally took that for granted. I had to like totally do a purge and like start over, like in a way, right? So you will be brought to the groups you need to be brought to, and I know how valuable some of this information is. And we'll go over how to fill out a W-8 bend, the different treaty laws. You know, if you need help, that's going to be on my Patreon. I'll give you guys some tips on live, but to do step by step, if you need help, yeah. I will take Cash App, Diana-7, or I'm going to put a digital pre-record, and it's going to go on my Patreon. And we'll go over and I'll show you how I filled mine out, how it's to be done, the biblical origins, and you can use the Bible as a law reference. If you didn't know, it's codified in public law. I believe it's 97-280, so you can check it out for yourself. I'm telling you, so many of the numbers are coded perfectly. Just like in the Bible, there's a book of numbers, right? There is something about sacred geometry and numbers, even the time one is born. Mine's is so synchronized, you couldn't even make it up. And a lot of people hate on the number 13, but there's a lot of great references that it's not as bad as people think. And if you add it together, it's the number 4. So I'm gonna let you guys go, guys. I'm at my destination. Thank you so much for supporting me, lady. I will text you later and send you a love token. Thank you. Bye-bye, honey. I gotta go. Bye.